So this Memorial Day 2025 marked my anniversary of 4 years sober. Back in 2021, I decided I was gonna get sober. It was about 2 weeks before Memorial Day. I had gone out drinking again. This particular morning, the day after, I woke up on the floor, still wearing my clothes from the night before, still had my shoes on. I passed out on the living room floor. And when I woke up, my two sons, they were recently turned 1 year old, they were eating breakfast, and both of them were looking at me from their high chair as I picked myself up off the floor and went to the bathroom to go throw up because I was so hungover, probably still drunk. But it's always been very important to me to be a good father, be a good husband. And this moment of waking up and looking at my kids and seeing them looking back at me and realizing that I was failing at one of these things that was so important to me, of being a good husband and father, I decided that day that I was gonna stop drinking. And the original plan was quit drinking for 365 days and build up Wooby Hoody. And it was a pretty high goal, because at this point in my life, I don't think I was going more than a day, maybe two, without drinking something. And I would say for the most part, it was daily, and not just having a beer or two, but getting drunk daily. And I was heading overseas. It was Memorial Day 2021. I was flying overseas, and I think the dates just lined up very well for what the day is and what I was deciding to do, kind of putting my foot down on who I wanted to be. And picking that day when most people are going out to drink and party and all that was symbolic for me. And I just think it lined up perfectly. So flew overseas, and I had come up with a plan. The 2 weeks leading up to this, I'd come up with a plan on how I was going to stop drinking, and I wanted to replace all the negative in my life with the positive, and I thought this was the best way to do it. So I had a bunch of books that I packed that were all personal, professional development, personal growth, just starting to plant positive seeds in my mind. I was always thinking very negatively, dark sense of humor, and I didn't realize how much that affected my psychology. I started listening to very positive, productive podcasts like Ryan Stewman. He had a podcast, I don't know if he still does it, but it's like 2 minutes of just like this motivational, positive speech in the morning. And I would have it queued up, ready to go. So as soon as my alarm went off, I could just hit play and start listening to something positive before I got in my own head and the negative thoughts started. So I used that to kind of set the tone for the day. And then I set up these like handrails and backstops for myself that I would go back to my room and read. I shut the TV off. I knew the workouts that I was going to be doing, when I was going to be doing them. So I always had something positive to do, something productive to do, so I wouldn't slide back into my old ways. Because I think if you remove an addiction, you leave a vacuum there, and it has to be replaced with something. Otherwise, you're just going to fall right back into it. So my idea was, I can remove this addiction, this habit that I have, and replace it with good things. So I was doing that, and I was incredibly consistent with it. And then 45 days into that trip, I don't know if I said this already, I was overseas doing security contracting. 45 days into that trip, I lost my job, and I was flying back home. And I remember thinking that I was gonna go home and get a bottle again and start drinking. And I was justifying it in my own mind of, I can do this, even though I made this vow to myself. And I did it in front of my wife. She recorded me. She documented the whole thing, so it's not like I could deny it or anything. But I made this vow to myself, and as I'm sitting there building this story up in my own mind of why it's okay for me to go back and drink, and there's no way I could have predicted that I was going to lose my job after this. So I think everybody will understand that I'm going to go home and start drinking again. On that flight home, I caught myself building this story, this what's the word I'm looking for? This victim mindset, this failure story of, hey, I tried, but when it got hard, I quit. And I didn't want to do that. So I doubled down on it. I said, I'm going to do whatever it takes. We were a single income household. Our boys were one. We had a mortgage, and this was our income, and now it was gone. So I doubled down. I said, I'll go be a bouncer at a bar. I'll go make coffee. I'll go be a janitor. I'll go do whatever it takes, but I'm not going to fail this. I'm going to finish my 365 days. And that's when things really started shifting. That's what got me into real estate. I said I was going to go home and buy my first rental property to help supplement our income. And crazy deal, I said I wanted it by Halloween of 2021. So I lost my job in July, and I said Halloween 2021 I was going to have my first investment property. Never bought an investment property before, didn't know anything about it. I didn't have any leads, I didn't have anything. I just set that goal for myself, and we ended up closing our first investment property October 29th, 2 days before Halloween. And then I got to work, and I remember as I was going through all this stuff, I was noticing these massive changes. Sean Whalen said, radical change requires radical change. And I wanted a radical change in my life. So I radically changed everything. But the thing that I didn't expect was the second and third order effects of all that, of how it just shakes up your whole life. You don't get to keep your same friends. You don't get to keep your same anything, really. Everything changed for me. And it was good, it was bad, it was inspiring, it was depressing, all of it. And I remember stepping back from all this while it was going on and just kind of like looking at it from almost outside myself and just seeing all this chaos that was happening. Because I think life checks you. If you say you want something, you start taking the steps towards it, and then life is going to turn around and check you and see how bad you really want it. And the bigger the change, the harder the reality check you're going to get. And for me, this was my whole life. It was my personality. It was everything about me. Was anything I was doing, I was going to be drinking. And if drinking wasn't involved, then I didn't want to be involved. So it was huge, and it took a long time, years. There's probably still some dust settling from it, but yeah, everything changed. Friend groups, obviously my job changed, relationships, business, how I thought, how I spoke, how I carried myself, my hobbies, everything changed. So I think that was it was very good. It was very difficult, and like I said, this comes with the territory. You're asking for something different, and you're going to get it. You'll get what you want. Let's just see if you want what you get. But all in all, it was one of the best decisions I've ever made. My relationship with my wife is better than it's ever been. My relationship with my sons is incredible. I take them to school every morning. I'm at all their practices. I'm there every weekend. I put them in bed every night. I'm there while they're eating breakfast in the morning. Like, it's absolutely incredible, and I don't regret it for a moment. I don't miss it. I wanted to share this. We talked about it a couple weeks ago. It's important for me to share this because I think there's a lot of people out there. I've gotten phone calls from friends, messages from strangers on how I did it, why I did it, and I wanted to share this. So if you're looking for something, that message, or if you're worried about it and that thing's been tapping you on the shoulder saying, hey, you need to do this, but it's a big jump and it's scary, well, let this be your message. Let this be the thing that you're looking for to take that step into the unknown and figure it out as you go. Fall down, get back up, make mistakes, correct them, learn from them, and move forward. Because just speaking personally, it has been absolutely life-changing. And like I said, one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life was moving towards success and health and happiness, and getting away from this self-destructive victim mentality of, I did XYZ, this happened to me, this is my problem, my issue, and so I'm just going to destroy myself for the rest of my life because of it. It's called a life lesson and not a life sentence for a reason. So move forward. Let this be your message. Go for it. Take that step.